The Jag is with Russ. I have no intentions of doing anything with the Jag. Oh, I was going to go in and talk about stickering up the blue Volvo, and I've left the Jag with him. This is going to be an interesting afternoon. Right, let's go home and get some editing done, and then we'll come back and pick that car up a little bit later on. It's a miserable day, so you might as well have a bit of fun, aren't you? Good morning. It is not a beautiful day in Worcestershire. It's horrible. It's raining and it's due to rain all day. So, a day of catching up with some errands. I've got to go drop something into Russ, the sticker guy, and it seems to be a bit of a waste to drive all the way up to Russ, the sticker guy, without doing something for one of the cars. I've been on Photoshop and I've had a little bit of an idea, so I'm going to go see if Russ can help me bring my dreams into life. And anyone who's seen any of the cars that I've stickered before will know that this only goes one of two ways. It's either really good, like the race car or the shark attack response vehicle, or really bad, like the slow and spacious. Do you remember when I ruined that Volvo 850? I tell you why I ruined that Volvo 850 is because I didn't have the balls to go all out with it. What I should have done with my Fast and Furious tribute is done it properly. I should have painted the car orange, and I should have done the exact graphics from the Supra from the first Fast and Furious film. But I didn't want to spend that much money, and I didn't have the guts to go all out and do it. But I wish now that I had done that, because it would have made that car really good instead of making it just a bit crap. The car's still around, but 90% of the stickers have been removed, as any sane person would have done, because it didn't look great. So what I've learned is when you're stickering cars, you either have to go all out or very, very subtle. That's what I've learned. Another thing on the Jag, I tell you what, I spent last night on eBay looking at Jaguar X-Types. I like the diesels because they're cheap to run, and I like to do a lot of miles. So I know there's people that say you have to have a petrol, get a V6, yada yada. They're all really thirsty. However, I was quite surprised at just how cheaply a good X-Type Jag can be bought. You can find a really nice spec 2 litre or 2.2 diesel X-Type Jag for less than a couple of grand. You can even find wagons. They do a small, nice looking estate car with a split fold tailgate. The glass section opens up. Why have I never thought to look at a Jaguar X-Type as my main family car? It's odd that it's a car that has just never ever been on my radar. I found loads last night and I thought, oh, they're all really nice. Then I get crazy ideas about buying an estate Jaguar X-Type and replacing my Volvo 850. But I did need to remind myself that they don't have the build quality. I don't think they have the longevity. So yes, you've got 2 litre and 2.2 litre engines. I don't think those engines are as robust as the old Volvo 5-cylinder, and I don't think the car generally is as robust as the old Volvo 5-cylinder, because the Mark III Mondeo isn't. I've done a video on the Mark III Mondeo, and what you don't know is after that Mark III Mondeo was left my hands, disappeared, went to the new owner, it caused loads of problems for the new owner with the EGR valve, with the steering rack, and something else as well. There were 3 things that went wrong with that car shortly after I waved it down the road. So that is Mark III Mondeos for you. They're great when they work, but they're just that bit more delicate. And that's a car that's built by Ford. So a Mondeo that is built by Jaguar is going to be even worse. I think it's lovely when it's all working, but I just don't think that it would all work all of the time. I think you'd end up spending quite a bit of money on maintenance. But cheap car to buy, nice spec, get one with heated seats. I'd want a wagon with heated seats and a sunroof. Couple of grand, couple and a half grand. Not a lot of money, is it, for a very cool, very cheap to run car, well, on fuel anyway, not repair bills. So I intend to use this car for a little while. I've got some road trips that I want to do. I do intend to go down and visit Richard Phobes next week to have a coffee and a slice of cake with him. And as I said, I've been threatening this fuel economy challenge against the Mac Masters Porsche Taycan. That's hopefully going to happen. I think we said the 25th, whenever that is. So, cool things in the pipeline with my Jag. yeah, I'm much more fond of this car than I thought. Right, let's go and see Russell, and I'll show him what I've photoshopped and see if he can do it today in time for the Cherished Vehicle Insurance Drive It Day on Sunday. There you go, 10 minutes in the office with Russ. I walked in and he said, you're not doing the colour that you've said that you're going to do. So we've been debating between gold and silver, but we now have a plan. I have another car parked up on the road, so I'm going to leave this Jag with Russ, and then I'll come back and we'll see how ruined it is when I get back. Intentions of doing anything with the Jag. Oh, I was going to go in and talk about stickering up the blue Volvo, and I've left the Jag with him. This is going to be an interesting afternoon. Right, let's go home and get some editing done, and then we'll come back and pick that car up a little bit later on. It's a miserable day, so you might as well have a bit of fun, haven't you? That looks absolutely brilliant, that does. Yeah, really pleased with that. Really pleased. Oh, no, hang on, that's not my car. A couple of hours later, back at Science Central, let's see how ruined the Jag is. It's not actually any different, is it? But let me show you what I have done. I just had this idea this morning and I texted Russ, and Russ was like, yeah, come on, bring it down, we can do that. This is for Drive It Day on Sunday. Because the Jag is sort of quite a diplomatic looking car, I thought I'd do something special, and I was thinking of having some sort of like UFO investigation thing, and then in the end I thought, no, let's just keep it a bit vague and just make it an official vehicle. And then I thought, why not do something even more different with it? Have you heard these stories about these Chinese police cars turning up in Australia? I'll put a little link in here. Basically, Chinese police cars have been turning up in Australia, and all the Chinese immigrants are absolutely freaking out because the Chinese are watching them wherever they are. So I thought I'd put some Chinese text on it. But what's funny is if you can read Chinese, that actually says absolute and total chaos, which I thought was funny. So we've got one on the back as well. So we haven't done much with this, obviously, because I don't want to ruin the Jag because it's lovely. One on the back, and then in the inside, if the car's still open, one on the dash. And that's it. Nothing much, just a little bit of fun for Drive It Day, which bizarrely really suits the car really well. I really like it, and it hardly cost me anything, so brilliant. That's a little bit of fun, isn't it? On the way home now, a little bit of video to edit, and then school run, and then Friday pub. I've just seen a Golf, I think it was a Mark 5 or 6 estate, fairly base spec Mark 5 or 6 Golf estate, with the number plate N2, as in N11. That's not a cheap number plate, is it? On a car that's worth a couple of £3 grand. I quite like seeing that. It's nice when you see a very expensive number plate on a car that is worth about 25p. Another thing I wanted to talk about whilst I've got you here just on the run back home is Stuart Fillingham makes motorbike videos. They're very good. He's got twice the amount of subscribers that I have, but I was just catching up on a video of his where he's talking about electric cars and the concept that the government are going to phase out the sale of petrol and diesel cars. Well, we know that they want to ban the sale of petrol and diesel cars by 2030. But what he's saying is he reckons from next year, they're going to start rationing the sale of petrol and diesel cars, which means each manufacturer will effectively have an allocation of vehicles that they're allowed to sell in a given year, and the rest of them need to be electric vehicles. Now, this is also in line with something else that's occurred to me. Do you remember when I did that BMW 530e review and I ended up in the Audi dealership, and I was laughing about the fact that the cars that were in development by Audi are £80,000 electric SUVs. Now, it's occurred to me that no one is developing cheap electric vehicles, are they? And why would they? There's no money in it. So who are electric vehicles for going forward? Well, they're for the very wealthy. Isn't that in line with what all the conspiracy theorists have been saying? That they want to take our cars off us, and the only people that will be allowed to go anywhere will be the extremely wealthy and the people that can afford to do it, which is why we're not seeing anyone coming into the market with, say, a £20,000 or £15,000 electric vehicle. I know you could say MG, there's a few MGs, but really no one's developing transport for the masses in electric vehicles, and all the established brands are basically having a race to see who can produce the most expensive, most ludicrous electric vehicle. Well, they're not for you or me, are they? So who are they developing these cars for? So we're going to end up in a situation where you can't walk into a showroom and buy a petrol or diesel car, and you can buy an electric vehicle, but it's pushing 100 grand. Brilliant. So it seems like the future is basically for the rich. That's weird, isn't it? Because that's what all the conspiracy theorists have been saying all along about the EV agenda. Love your car. So back to where we were filming yesterday. The luxurious classic cars are gone, but don't worry, the official vehicle is here. Let's just take a quick look at this paintwork. As I was saying in my video yesterday, I think the rain is flattering it today, but if you run your hand down the top of the doors, you can see it sort of cracks and it's all crazed. Very strange. It's exactly the same as it was on the XK that I had. Just like the shoulders of the car seem to really suffer and go a little dull. I think it's the same on both sides, to be fair. Let's take a look at this side. This side seems to be better, but again, we've got rust bubbling coming up through here. But not bad, you know, for a car that's, what, 2008? It's not exactly old though, is it? But again, you've got the same thing going on over here as well. Rust just coming through. I guess that would be a relatively easy thing to deal with though, wouldn't it? So there we go. That is my stickering on the X-Type. The absolute and total chaos official vehicle, and I've got a little QR code on there as well. I wanted it to be mysterious. I didn't really want it to be Geoff branded or anything like that, but if you scan the QR code, then you'll end up at my YouTube channel. Should we finish with the Leaper? Let's finish with the Leaper. Geoff buys cars. Still, YouTube's most boring car channel.